Hey guys, it's Lays Bro. I know I haven't done a lot of videos on YouTube here, but that's mostly because I'm really not much of a film guy and I don't do a lot of stuff. I've been trying to do stuff, but it just doesn't seem to be working out. So I thought I'd just show you guys a little stuff what I'm doing on, when I'm off screen and stuff, just, playing games and watching movies and stuff. But I wanted to talk to you about one of my recent projects I'm working on right now. Now, today is February 7th, and it's the anniversary release of one of my favorite Walt Disney films, Walt Disney's Pinocchio. I love Pinocchio. I've read the book, I've seen so many film adaptations. I love them all. Pinocchio is one of my favorite fairy tale characters and one of my favorite Disney movies. Now, what I'm doing here is, in my spare time here, is I'm actually working on a story that takes place 14 years after Pinocchio. It's called Annabelle, the Daughter of Pinocchio. Yes, it's a sequel story, kind of like a Descendant type of story. I'll show you a little bit here. Here's a better picture of a poster that a friend of mine helped me make. This is my poster here for the title itself. I copy and pasted all that stuff on there. Looks pretty good. Down here at the bottom it says, the story is dedicated to the great Walt Disney, who taught us to wish upon a star and believe in our dreams. Now, that's the thing, I am dedicating the story to, my favorite Disney animators, slash filmmaker and actor, Walt Disney, who was, Mickey Mouse and made all those characters and stuff. I love Walt Disney. I love the history about it. I love everything about it. It's just today's, I honestly think Disney just isn't the same as it used to be back in the golden years, back from the 40s up until the 70s or the 90s. But I grew up in the 90s during the Disney Renaissance, when they had films like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. All those great movies that came out in the 90s, they were the best. But in my opinion, some of the very last great Disney classics. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the Millennium films today. It's just, to me, Disney has become more of a power corp, hungry money corporation, because they've pretty much owned just about everything from the Muppets to Marvel to now even Star Wars. And well, I'm really not going to get in much into that. I want to talk more about my Disney project here. Now, what I'm trying to do here is write something that's more than just a simple fan fiction. I've seen many people on the internet write fan fiction sequels and stuff to stuff like this. But what I'm trying to do is actually write a story, an actual story. I did a short version of it back in 2014, which was pretty much kind of like, I just did what everybody else on DeviantArt and fan fictions did, just copied the movie and tried to, replace it with a new character and change things up a little bit, and it was just didn't feel like it was did very well. So I decided, last year in August to maybe, try and redo it maybe. I know I repeat a lot of word stuff, but that's just because I can just hard to think of things to what to say, but back to the focus here is, what I'm trying to do here is make an actual story that's more like an actual sequel to Pinocchio, kind of like, sort of like what they did with Ariel and Return to the Sea, with her having a daughter named Melody, and Peter Pan Return to Neverland with Wendy having a daughter named Jane, and of course, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, with Simba having a daughter named Kiara. So that's where I decided to come up with Annabelle. Now, I know that Annabelle's not really an Italian-type name, and to be honest, not really many of the characters in the story have Italian names. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's a Disney story. It doesn't have to be, consistent with the book was set in Italy, but this is more of a Disney universe, so I just wanted to, do my own thing with it. But back to Annabelle. So the story is basically this. 14 years later, Pinocchio is now an adult. Geppetto has passed on, and he's pretty much following in Geppetto's footsteps. And of course, some of the characters return. Jiminy Cricket's been gone for a couple years. He's been traveling and teaching kids the same lessons he taught Pinocchio. And now he's come home to find, Pinocchio's now become like his father, and he has a little pup now. He has a little puppet now of his own. And of course, one of my favorite characters returns, Figaro the cat. Yes, Figaro was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I loved Figaro. The way he was, the kitten was just so cute and adorable, and he was like fussy and impatient and jealous, and I just loved him. I just had to bring him back. And of course, we have little Annabelle herself, the daughter of Pinocchio. I know she kind of looks like a little Dutch girl or a little nursemaid thing, I just thought she looked kind of cute. Originally, I was going to have her wear clothes more like Pinocchio's, but I just didn't want her to be just like another, female Pinocchio clone like I see all the time on the internet. I wanted something more cute and adorable and original. So, but she does have a little bit of Pinocchio's face in her. Of course, here's another character I made. This is Figaro's little kitten, Figgy the kitten. She's a little kitten with pink fur and a little red Minnie Mouse bow. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why would the kitten be pink? Well, that's just, I thought of it, there were, in The Wizard of Oz, there was Dorothy had a little pink cat, and I thought, it would be a little cute, and so I wanted to make another Figaro that was more like a girl, and so I gave her, made something more, pink was more feminine, but in the story, I'm gonna try and explain why she's pink, and that, maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 cats will be born with pink fur, and if they are, it's good luck, or whatever, I don't know, but moving on, I'll show you, these are some now. Like I said, when I did Annabelle back in 2014, I tried to do things different. I just tried to make it a short movie-type sequel story, but it just didn't seem to get a lot of praise. I mean, some people liked it, some people didn't. It was just, it was just another boring, same old fan fiction, but what I wanted to do is try and make it more like an actual story, than just, plain old another ordinary, everyday fan fiction. So, for the reboot story, I tried to make it more like the movie was, but instead this time having actual setting and a place and a story progression and character development. So what I did here was create 2 new characters for the main character to follow her around besides Jiminy Cricket being her conscience. She also has mentor characters and friends who try and inspire her. This character right here is Alexandra, Annabelle's best friend. She accompanies her around. She's like a big sister to her. She looks out for her, keeps her out of trouble. Yes, the name Alexandra came from the little donkey boy in Pinocchio. It was like Alexander, the little, one of the boys that didn't turn into a donkey. I mean, he did turn into a donkey, but could still talk. And no, this character is not related to him. I'm not having all these characters related to all your characters from the film, but the next character here is related to a main character from the film, and I'm sure you probably all recognize this guy's face. Look familiar? Yep, it's Lampwick. This kid is Tobias, or Toby. He's the younger brother of Lampwick, but this kid is the complete opposite of what Lampwick was in the film. Lampwick was like a tough, wisecracking, juvenile delinquent, and of course he got turned into a donkey, which, some people say that scene where his hands turned into donkey hooves was very terrifying. But Toby here tries to be the opposite of what his brother was, which is basically a jackass who, who's disobedient, plays hooky from school. He tries not to be like Lampwick, and he stands up for Annabelle and her friends and tries to, there's going to be some bully characters in the story. I haven't drawn them yet, but they return as a recurring antagonist. They try to cause trouble for Annabelle and her friends, and Toby tries to keep them in line. Another character I just recently had here this is Oswald, Toby's little faithful pup. Since Annabelle has a little cat, I thought, maybe it'd be cute if Toby had a little puppy and they'd be friends and stuff. Yes, I know this looks like this is a Dalmatian design, but I might change his design a little bit. I tried to make him not look like a Dalmatian. I don't know what breed he is, but he's a little pup. He looks cute, and he's faithful and loyal, and trust me, when this little pup gets mad and fierce, he bites like a Doberman or a Saint Bernard. It's a Disney thing. I can make these characters, have any magical strength and everything like that. And here's another character I just had that I didn't have in the original version of my story. This is Alexandra's mother, Juliana. This is Pinocchio's love interest in my story. She was an old friend of his from his childhood, who was kind of like a big sister to him. Kind of looked after him after Jiminy left, and now that their daughters are becoming best friends, they're starting to reconnect, and she's starting to see Pinocchio differently as more than just a friend or a brother. She's starting to, I guess you could say, fall in love with him. Of course, that's all part of the future story. I'm still working on that right now. But those are pretty much the characters in my story. That's my story. What I'm trying to do here is try to create like an actual story, not just a cheap sequel. I mean, back in the 2000s when they were making sequels, John Lasseter, I think he became the co-director or producer or boss of Pixar Studios. They decided they weren't going to do no more sequels. There was actually a Pinocchio 2 in the workings where they didn't give very much information about it, only that it said that it was a strange film that saw Pinocchio on a journey for something dear to him, and it would lead him to question why life is unfair sometimes. Now, of course, that film, along with all these other movies like Dumbo 2 and Aristocats 2 and all that stuff, they all got canceled. And personally, I don't really think that a lot of the other sequels like Cinderella 3 and all this other stuff, I just thought they were crap. They didn't do very well. It's no wonder they stopped doing sequels to the originals, because they just didn't do as well as the originals. The originals were the best, and to this day are legends and classics, and always will be. And instead of doing sequels, now they do live-action remakes. I mean, I don't really like the live-action ones. I've seen Maleficent, and that's pretty much the only one I've watched. The live-action ones just don't have the same feel as the animated cartoon versions. I mean, they will always be dear to me, and I will always love them more. But like I said here, what I'm trying to do is try to make this story more like a sequel to Pinocchio, where Pinocchio's, stepping into the shoes of his father, and now his daughter has to learn some of pretty much the same lessons he had to learn, but the Blue Fairy wants her to, be a puppet for a little bit longer than her dad was. She wants her to grow and learn and experience life and learn what it truly means to be human before she makes her a human. So I'm just trying to make the story, drag on, and towards the end, Annabelle's going to go on this journey. Something's going to happen to Pinocchio. He's going to become deathly ill, and she and her friends are going to have to go off and look for something that will save his life, and then she'll have to learn about, responsibility and sacrifice, and, pretty much the same thing Pinocchio did when he saved Geppetto from the whale. So, that's pretty much my project here. I'm working on my story, and, of course, I might try and get it on here. I don't know what I'm doing so far. I've got some of the chapters up on DeviantArt. My friend of mine his name is MSP169. He's helping me write the story because he knows a little bit more about keeping characters in character than I do. But I am gonna try and get this on YouTube here, and so you guys can see it. I don't know what exactly I'm gonna do with it yet. If I'm gonna do like an audio drama, like my friend Disney Fanatic does with her Bride of Discord series, or if I'm going to do what my other friend, Red Phoenix, does, where he just, narrates the story and has, like actors, can read the lines of the dialogue from the characters. But I'm going to try and get something going on this channel. I know the Let's Plays aren't working out, but I want to do something. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys so far, what I'm doing here. I know and yes, I just want to remind you guys, this story is dedicated in honor of Walt Disney himself, who made so many amazing cartoons and movies, and so many live-action films as well, and songs, and to all the people from the Disney Animation Studio from the 1920s till the 2000s. It's all dedicated to them. And yes, copyrights reserved. Only the characters in my story are owned by me. The rest are owned by Disney. So if you guys are interested in this stuff, please check out my stuff on DeviantArt. I guess that's it for now. I just wanted to show you guys what I was doing. I'm LazeBro, signing off.